Hey guys! So for today's video, I want to walk you through an entire week of workouts, how I like to split my days into lower, upper body days, when do I work out, which exercises am I doing, warm up, cardio, abs, how do I set up for hip thrust. I like to work out 4 days a week. I feel like then I have also enough rest days to recover in between my workouts. From those 4 days, I like to have 2 leg days and 2 upper body days. I like to start my week on a Monday, even though for the longest time I didn't work out on a Monday because it just didn't fit into my schedule. Don't be discouraged if you don't have time to work out on a Monday. And I like to start my week off with a leg day. Not every week. You know, sometimes you wake up on a Monday morning and you're not feeling good, you're feeling tired, you haven't slept enough and you don't want to do your leg day, then I'm switching for upper body. I used to warm up on the treadmill like an incline walk or something, but I stopped doing that because I feel like I'm tired after cardio, even though it's just a little bit of cardio. I just prefer to do dynamic stretches, dynamic warm-up exercises where I can especially focus on my hips because I feel like my hips are very tight and they need warm-ups. So I like to do a couple of warm-up exercises where I feel like I can, warm up my hips, open my hips. I have a lot more tightness on my right side of the leg, which is also my weaker leg when I'm doing single exercises. So I make sure that especially my right leg is warmed up for my leg workout, which also prevents from injuries. To be completely honest, I don't have time for a cool down, but if you do anything, do a little bit of a warm up. It's just for you to prevent injuries. Trust me, the first time you're gonna feel a pain that doesn't go away, you're gonna freak out a little bit. And then I like to start with hip thrusts, and how I like to set up for hip thrusts is I put the plates on the barbell in a way where I know I can still lift them down, and after I lifted the barbell down on the floor, I roll it up to a plate. You have to roll the plate into the middle of the smaller plate. Like I usually take like a 1.25 kg plate, like the smallest plate available, and then I can load on my weights. Tips for my short girlies, because I am a short girly. I don't have a hip thrust setup at my gym, so I have to do this with a bench. We don't have anything lower than the bench. And what I like to do is I sit on a plate, like on a bumper plate. And then because the bumper plate is like so far up that I cannot roll, the barbell onto my hips anymore, I elevate the entire thing by rolling the entire barbell onto more plates. It seems excessive, but honestly, this is such a good setup. If you take your proper time to set your hip thrust up right, the exercise will feel different. You will have amazing forearm. It will feel so much easier. Honestly, having the extra step of these plates and rolling it onto these plates made such a difference for me. I love it so much. And then I like to start off, with a warm-up set, with a little bit of a lighter weight. And then I work my way up. I tend to go from light to heavy. And then I just try and see how many reps I can do at the end of my sets pretty much. So maybe I'm going like heavy and then I can only aim for like, I don't know, 6 reps or something. And I also like to have my heavy exercises every workout day at the beginning. Hip thrusts are for me a non-negotiable. I'm gonna do them all the time. And I'm also referring to them as hip thrusts. You might say I'm probably doing calf glute bridges. Honestly, the term hip thrust has just been around longer. I know these two are not the same. Whatever you want to call it, okay? I'm calling it hip thrusts in this video. And then we move on to RDLs. They are so good. I sometimes do them with the barbells, sometimes I like to do them with dumbbells. I like to switch and alternate between these two. And sometimes I also, and I have to say I'm very bad at this, but sometimes I also do sumo deadlifts. I never know when to implement my sumo deadlifts into my workout. I don't know, I feel like they're always like too much. Sumo deadlifts are a great exercise. I don't do them as much as I should. And then when I do them, I always complain that I cannot lift more weight. So yeah. And then I like to do some sort of single leg exercise. I like to do reverse lunges or elevated reverse lunges. Absolutely hate them. One of my least favorite exercises ever, but it is a good exercise, okay? So we sometimes need to do this. I also switch between the barbell, the dumbbells, and the Smith machine. I know that when I was filming these clips, I used a plate for my elevated reverse lunges, but I usually do this with a stepper. So I don't know, I didn't do them for a while, so I think that was why I was confused when filming this. I was like, Oh, I usually do this with the step up thing. And then I did 2 sets so that no one would notice and it wouldn't be so embarrassing. And then I switched to the step up thing. Because I had more of an elevation and I feel like you have a better stance. So if you have any form of step up things at your gym, highly recommend for anything elevated. They are amazing. I also like to do obviously Bulgarian split squats or some sort of like single leg RDLs, or what else do we have? Single leg hip thrust, B stands actually. And then for the end of the workout, where we move into more into isolation exercises, my favorite thing to do on a hamstring day is having a superset with lying hamstring curls. I don't know if you have this machine. If you don't have it, you can also do seated hamstring curls. Honestly, I was too embarrassed to do any of these exercises for the longest time, so I totally understand if you want to skip that. And then I like to superset it with the hyperextension, and your hamstrings are gonna be on fire. One of the best supersets ever. Sometimes I also like to do cable kickbacks. I'm not the biggest fan of them, not gonna lie, because I'm always like, do they actually do anything? Or do they just hurt my back? We will never know. Then on Tuesday, I usually like to have my pull day. And pull means back and biceps, which I absolutely love. I love an upper body day. We're not sweating as much. We can listen to our music more. It's more enjoyable than a leg day, you know? What I like to do on my upper body days, I do like a quick warm up, usually with a resistance band. I like to do a little bit for the shoulders because I feel like I'm always scared to hurt my shoulders. So I like to warm them up even when I'm training back. I would like to say I do a pull-up variation, but I usually just do assisted pull-ups. I should also be doing like maybe like a negative movement. I sometimes do that, but I cannot do a pull-up, okay? I'm still working on it. And then one of my all-time favorite exercises is a good lat pull down. I also like to do a single lat pull down on the cable machine. Amazing. After my lat pull down, I like to have some sort of rows, like either barbell rows or dumbbell rows, single arm rows, or I also like to do T-bar rows. And then I supersetted it with a face pull, which is one of my favorite exercises ever. You're technically training your back shoulders, so you can also do this on shoulder days. But since it is a pulling movement, I usually do it on my pull day. And then I do some sort of single arm exercise, single rows. I usually like to do them with the dumbbells. You can also do this on the seated cable row machine. I think I didn't say this with the row variations. I also like to do a seated cable row, obviously staple exercise. Yeah, some sort of single arm exercise. You can also do this on the cable machine or on another machine. Then I usually finish my pull day off with some sort of biceps exercise. Usually I also like to switch between, well, I don't do the barbell, but I do the EZ bar, I think it is called, or I do dumbbells or single arm or something like that, or on the cable machine, but some sort of bicep variation to finish off on my pull day. And then because we have an upper body day, I also like to train my abs. I like to do 5 exercises, each of them 30 seconds. You can time yourself with your phone or if you have a watch, and then I take a minute break and then I repeat 1 or 2 times depending how I'm feeling that day and how much time I have. You can do a 30-second break. I just like to go through one circuit pretty much, and I do the same 5 exercises for the longest time until I get very sick of it. Lately I've been incorporating weight on my ab exercise, which is the first time ever. I've never done this before. I'm not sure if I'm gonna include the ab exercises into this video because I've never included it into a video, and I feel like filming yourself doing ab exercises is very humbling. And then I like to have my rest days. Wednesday, Thursday for me are rest days. I like to recover on those days. I usually go on walks with my dog. I don't do any exercise. You will also notice I'm not doing any cardio whatsoever, which I'm definitely not recommending. But one thing is, I absolutely hate cardio. The other thing is, cardio makes me super tired. And I train in the morning, so I always feel like I don't want to do it because then I cannot get through my day. I don't know, does anyone else have that problem? Maybe I just need to get fitter. So I definitely want to implement it into my routine, but let's be honest, when you have to work, when you have to study, you don't have so much time at the gym. And if I'm doing my warm-up, my exercises, and my cardio, I'm at the gym for like 2 hours, and I feel like I don't have the time to do that. I'm skipping on my cardio, and I get my cardio in by walking my dog, going on long walks, not every day, but as much as I can. Then go to the gym again on Friday, where I feel super energized again, and we are gonna use this energy for Another leg day, of course. We're training quads, which I actually hate the day. I only hate the day because I start off every quad day with squats. Squats are a staple exercise. I need to do them. Usually I do barbell squats. Recently I discovered that I also can use the Smith machine. And honestly, I kind of really love it because I feel like I can hold it better at the bottom. And this is obviously where you want to hold your squat, where you get the most out of the movement. For the longest time, I felt so bad for using the Smith machine. I don't know, I feel like it has such a bad image, and I was always like, no, I want to use the barbell because then I have to, keep my core more engaged and stuff like that. Most of the time I do barbell squats, but Smith machine squats are amazing, and I like to have a switch sometimes. I don't like the hex squat machine. I always have knee pain. I feel like it is so awkward and I just don't like it, so I don't use it anymore. I like to start off my quad day with squats, and I usually do a warm-up set with only the barbell. I don't know if this does anything. I heard that it's a waste of energy. I don't know. I personally like to do it. And then I do a light to a normal weight and just get into my squats, and then I increase the weight, and then I also lower my reps usually. Then I also like to do hip thrusts or some sort of variation. I didn't do this for the longest time. I don't know if it does make a difference, but I do feel better if I do my hip thrust twice a week. And I usually like to do them on the Smith machine because, like I said, my gym doesn't have a hip thrust setup. We have a hip thrust machine, but I don't like it. I only used it once. Maybe I need to try it again. I like to set up on the Smith machine because it is quicker than with the barbell. A tip, if you also want to do it on the Smith machine, is you have these safety things on the Smith machine, and you can not put it onto the first level but onto the second level, and then you can start immediately the exercise without having to use your strength for lifting the bar up. Then we're moving into my favorite exercise ever, and this is the leg press. I know a lot of people hate it. I personally love it. You can get all of your anger out on the leg press. This is the time where you go to angry music and let it all out. This is when I go probably the most to failure. But this is when I debate all of my life choices. This is when I'm shaking, I'm almost crying. And I personally love to do variations like regular leg press, high stance leg press, narrow stance leg press. Usually, to be completely honest, I love a good old basic leg press. I personally don't do a lot of single leg press. I always feel like I feel it in my back and I don't like it, and so I don't do it. If you have a lot of self-hate, a lot of anger, and you want to go to the absolute maximum, what I sometimes like to do is superset the leg press with elevated goblet squats. Your quads are gonna be on fire. I absolutely hate every minute of it when I have to do goblet squats afterwards, but the burn is insane. Then we go into another single leg exercise. I love step ups. I usually like to do them on a platform, and then I can hold onto a bar, like this is in this, what is this called? Free function area. And what I like to do is I hold on with one hand. I literally lean into it, okay? And then I slowly move up, go down again, and feel the stretch on the bottom, and only press with my working leg. But I still have a very, very tight grip on that thing. I don't pull myself up with my hand. I am leaning back, and that I have stabilization, Take your time with this exercise. I mean, with all exercises, but really feel it and go slow and not just, up and down. Always start with your weaker leg. You will notice that you have a weaker leg, and I didn't do this for the longest time because I was like, I want to start with my strong leg because then I at least have one good set, and then a weaker leg is gonna be problematic anyways. Then I had someone tell me, no, you have to start with your weaker leg. This changed the single leg exercises for me completely, because like your stronger leg can still easily do it after your weaker leg did it. If I start with my stronger leg, my weaker leg is struggling even more, and it is already struggling. And then I like to do leg extensions. I love leg extensions. I couldn't do them for the longest time because I had knee pain, so I'm very happy that I can do them again. I started training my calves 4 weeks ago. I never trained them, never, and I never felt the need to train them. But every time in summer, when you're wearing shorts, I'm kind of embarrassed how untrained and jiggly my calves are. The mission for this winter is to also train my calves, and I would do this like at the end of the workout, just quickly train your calves and then leave. And then we have the last day. On Saturday, I like to have my push day, and push means shoulder, chest, triceps, favorite day Love it. Absolutely love it. It's an amazing day. I also do a little bit of a shoulder warm-up on my shoulder day, obviously with a resistance band. I like to do push-ups in my warm-up sometimes, you know, just 10-12 reps. Sometimes I also incorporate it into my workout. You can also do them on a bench, then they're a little bit easier. And then I like to start my workout either with a shoulder pressing variation or with a bench press variation. On this day, I started with shoulders because I did a military press. I was so weak the first time I did this. I couldn't even do 3 sets with the barbell. I didn't do them now for a very long time, so I was like, I need to work on my military presses again. If I don't do the military press, I like to do seated shoulder presses. Love this exercise. These are usually the 2 shoulder exercises that I like to do. And for the bench press, I love doing bench presses. I also didn't do them for the longest time because I was too scared to do them. One of my favorite exercises now, and I either do a barbell bench press or I do dumbbell bench press, either laying flat or a little bit elevated. Is it called elevated? Incline, on an incline dumbbell bench press. Then another great superset, and this is front raises into lateral raises. Your shoulders are gonna feel like they're gonna fall off, and this is what I love most about this superset. I do the front raises first and then I do the lateral raises, like not front lateral, but front like 8 to 10 reps and then 8 to 10 reps lateral raises. Then we have some sort of chest flies. You can do the chest flies on a bench, you can do them on the machine, you can do them on the cable machine. I was also too embarrassed to do this for the longest time. I'm very glad that I can do them now, even though I don't know if I do them right. I feel like everyone does them so different, but I always just make sure that I can feel it in my chest. And what I like to do is I always put my, what is this finger called? Put it more inwards, you know, so that you can really squeeze your chest. Obviously it's a little bit more down. And then I also supersetted this. You know, when I don't have a lot of time, I feel like supersetting on upper body days is just amazing. With triceps, I usually do tricep push downs, or I do like a bench push up, because usually at this point I couldn't do like a normal push up because everything hurts so much. You can also do skull crushers. I honestly feel like I'm always doing them wrong, so I never do them. Or you can do tricep extensions. I sometimes do them, but my favorite tricep exercise, and the exercise I'm doing most often, is a tricep push down, cable push down. It's amazing. I love it. It burns. I feel good. And then I like to finish it off also with abs. I like to train my abs twice a week. I don't think my abs look like I would train them twice a week. I like to train it twice a week. So I usually do the same exercises again, my circuit. And this would be my entire week of workouts, my ideal week of workouts. Obviously not every week is gonna be like that. You know, sometimes you cannot make it to the gym 4 days a week. I don't know how people make it more than 4 times a day, 4 times a week to the gym. I obviously don't always train Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. This would be my ideal week. But you know, sometimes life gets into the way, you have plans with friends or stuff like that, then I move days around. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more videos from me, and give the video a like if you enjoyed it, so that also other people can watch this video, find this video. This would help me a lot. And other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!